Copy 724, right. Center maintain 2000.
Center maintain 2074.
Comment 504 to center maintain 3000.
3000, comment 504.
In this video, we're going to be starting a new section about the weather, and basically we're going to be covering the nature of the atmosphere in the first section. This section is going to be covered in multiple videos, and this is we'll try to cover it in 3 videos, and this is the first video of that in order to cover the section. The first thing we wanted to look into is like basically as we know that there is a low pressure system and a high pressure system, right? So in the what are the general characteristics? General characteristics of with regards to the flow of air, like how the air flows in this low pressure system and the high pressure system. So remember that the low pressure system goes like this: inward, upward, and counterclockwise. And the high pressure system, again, this is with regards to the flow of the air, is outward, downward, and clockwise. The way I have memorized it is like, again, in the next question we're going to be talking about which one is a good weather and which one is a bad weather. So as you may or may not know, that the high is going to be like the good weather, right? And the low pressure system is going to be a bad weather. So I consider it like high being good, meaning that it takes the airplane outward and bring the bad weather downward, and everything is normal in a clockwise direction. Whereas the low pressure system, which is severe weather, considered as a bad weather, tries to bring the airplane inward, meaning back to the ground. The bad weather is going upward, and everything is counterclockwise, meaning not good. Okay, but this is just like the direction of the flow of the air. Okay, so this question may be put in a different ways. Maybe they say that you are going towards a low pressure system. What would you expect? You are going to a high weather pressure system. What would you expect? So the low pressure system is what? So rising air, right? And it has cloudiness, not clear weather, and basically precipitation and bad weather. It's bad. That's the word we need to remember. And the high pressure system, again, it is descending airs, right? Like it would dissipate the cloudiness, meaning clear weather and good weather, clear and good weather. That would be the high pressure system. Okay, third one is we need to what is the different types of fronts, right? So the first one is called the cold front. So what is a cold front? It occurs when a mass of cold, dense and stable air advances and replaces a body of warmer air. That's called the cold front. The other one, the next one is the occluded front. So this is this occurs when a fast moving cold front catches up with a slow moving warm front. So uh, yeah, that's the occluded one. So basically when the fast moving cold front is going to catch up that where it is called the occluded front. Third one is the warm front. Again, as the name suggests, it's the boundary area formed when the warm air mass contacts and flows over a colder air mass. So basically that front is called the warm front. Stationary front is when the two forces when the forces of the two air masses are relatively equal, so no mixing is going on. Warm is staying uh, like front is not. So this kind of front is called the stationary front. It is not like stationary. So the weather is typically a mixture of both warm and cold fronts, uh, and basically it influences the weather for many days because no fronts are mixing with each other. So that's the reason it stays there for a while. Okay. Then like what are the characteristics you would like the weather characteristics you would encounter if you are operating in a cold front of cold and warm front. So in the cold one, when you are flying from the cold front, what you would expect is cumulus. The two kind of clouds you need to remember is cumulus and cumulonimbus. Cumulonimbus, right? And again, it's gonna be heavy rain because of the types of the clouds. Cumulus and cumulonimbus, they are big clouds and they are heavy. Rain is gonna accompany lightning, thunder. There will be tornado. There could be tornadoes. Can be hail, and poor visibility, winds variable, gusting, and the temperature dew point. They are like they drop rapidly. So you need to remember that. Warm front. So the type of clouds they're gonna make is called the stratiform. So they are smaller clouds. You can expect drizzle, low ceiling, poor visibility could be there, variable winds, rise in temperature. These are the things which you would see in the warm front. Okay, what is a trough? We need to cover the trough and the ridge for that. So a trough is basically the elongated line of relatively low temperature pressure, right? At the surface, when air converges into a low, it cannot go upward against the pressure gradient, nor can it go downward actually. It must go upward, right? So therefore a low or a trough in an area of rising air. So again, what is a trough? It is a relatively low atmospheric pressure. And what is a ridge? As you can expect that this is again the elongated area of relatively high atmospheric pressure. This is low atmospheric pressure. This is high atmospheric pressure. Okay. You also need to remember these numbers when it comes to weather. There is the standard temperature and the standard pressure values at sea level. So temperature is gonna be equal to 15 degrees C, and the pressure at sea level is gonna be equal to 29.982 inches of mercury. Okay, we also want to cover the isobars. What are isobars? What are isobars? So this is isobar is a line on a weather chart which basically connects areas of equal or constant barometric pressure. So a line which is gonna connect the areas of equal, or you can say the constant barometric pressure, where the pressure is same. That's what the isobar lines represent. Okay. Then we're gonna cover the let's talk about a scenario where the isobars are like close isobars. They are very close to each other, like on a surface weather chart, right? Uh, or it could be on the pressure chart too, right? So what does it even mean? So the spacing of the isobars on this chart defines how steep or shallow a pressure gradient is. So the spacing is directly relation. It actually, I don't know if you can see it with the. So the spacing is basically gonna be directly proportional to the pressure gradient. So if they are very close together, that means a steep pressure gradient exists, right? If the shallow pressure gradient would usually mean that the isobars are not gonna be close together, and wind speeds are gonna be less. Okay, so they may ask you what is uh, Coriolis force, or they can say what is the name of the force which causes the winds aloft to flow parallel to the isobars. Either way, you need to know that the force is called the Coriolis force, uh, uh, which is basically this is a force which causes the winds to flow parallel to the isobars. Similar to this force thing, what is the name of the force or the friction because of which that the surface winds generally flow across the isobars at an angle. They don't just directly go in the direction of the isobars, they go at an angle. That force or friction is called the surface friction. This is very important too. Definitely should. And maybe when you were taking the written exam or the knowledge exam for the private pilot, this they ask this one a lot. Very common one, like what rate does the atmospheric pressure decreases with an increase in the altitude? So you first of all you should know that when the altitude increases, the pressure decreases, right? And the relationship is that for every 1000 feet increase in the altitude, it's gonna decrease 1 inches of mercury. Right, this is the rate at which the atmospheric pressure decrease with an increase in the altitude. Yeah, those were the questions we wanted to cover. Thanks for watching.